In the 1960s, pregnant women were prescribed a new drug, thalidomide, to deal with morning sickness. The drug had terrible side effects, obstructing limb development in unborn babies. Because her mother was given this drug, Mandy Masters was born without arms, into a world where she would rely on her feet.
When I was about 6 months old, my mum had left a newspaper in the bottom of the pram, and she could hear all this rustling. So it gave her the encouragement to put things in my feet because I was rustling the paper. And she put a plastic roller that she used to put in her hair in my toes.
Mandy's use of her toes is as sophisticated as most people's use of their fingers.
I mean, some people used to wear the artificial arms, and their parents didn't like them using their feet, but I feel more comfortable using feet than I felt more like a robot in the arms.
In her 38 years, Mandy's become very skilled at doing everyday things.
I mean, I had to teach myself because people find it hard to know how to hold things, so I had to teach myself really how to peel a potato.
Mandy's sister Jane remembers their lively childhood together. There were a few instances when Mandy's physical difference became an issue.
Well, I chased her once, we was playing the garden when we was children, and I chased her through the back door with wet flannel and she fell over and hurt herself. My mum said, you're not to do that, because if she was to fall, she can't, on her face, she can't protect herself because she hasn't got the arms to put down in front, so I didn't do it no more.
But all in all, Mandy was a normal girl and was treated no differently from her many brothers and sisters.
She used to give me a lift to school on the back of her bike. We used to get told off for doing it, but that she could do everything that a normal brother and sister could do.
Mandy didn't let her disability get in the way of having fun as a teenager.
Because I am quite an outgoing person, they accepted me as I was, So I didn't really have any problems. I used to go at the age of 17, used to go to Switzerland with a friend. And then when I started to drive, I used to drive up to Liverpool with a crowd full of friends. I was quite a wild teenager.
Mandy met her husband Wayne at one of her brother's parties, and it wasn't long before they got engaged and had 2 daughters together. The eldest now has a 3-year-old son of her own. Mandy fully embraced her role as mother, but there are a few things she regrets she couldn't do.
Push a baby's pram, wasn't able to do that. When I go shopping, I have to always have somebody come with me to push the trolley and pick things up in the shelves, so I can't do that.
Growing up isn't easy for anyone, and it would have been understandable if Mandy had blamed any struggle on her mother.
I think I had some down days, but never turned around and sort of blamed my parents. If you've never had something, you can't miss it.
Some of the things that she does amaze me, even now. It's just very special to everyone she meets, everyone she talks to. She just brings the best out of them.
I think it's the way I come across to people. I tend to make them relax and not nervous around me. And just accept me as I am.
This is 38-year-old Katrina's story, who was born without arms. This was caused by the drug thalidomide, prescribed to her mother and thousands of others to combat morning sickness. The drug had devastating side effects, and many children were born with missing limbs. Life for Katrina has been challenging to say the least, but there's no denying she's lived life to the full in an extraordinary triumph over adversity. A single mother of 4, she's brought the children up alone since their father left 9 years ago and has become a successful artist. From the beginning of her life, she's had to find different ways of doing things.
Anything new is a challenge, and I love a challenge anyway, and I'm trying to get past that really. So it's automatic, like people do with their hands. I would just automatically do with my feet. You learn to compensate with things that you haven't got.
Part of Katrina's life has always been having to prove herself to her skeptics. The harsher the skeptics, the more resilient Katrina has become.
I went to mainstream school and consequently didn't work there because children were a bit cruel. So I ended up at a physically handicapped school. And the teacher was reading something or doing some work and she looked it up and said to me, "You'll never get married because no one will ever marry you and you won't be able to have children." And I was gutted, absolutely gutted. It broke my heart. And I saw her years later, you know, when I was pregnant, and she never said anything, but I'll never forget what she said.
Most of us are daunted by the thought of giving birth and the responsibility of children. Katrina had to face all this 4 times and do it all in her very own unique way.
First time I was pregnant, I miscarried at 8 weeks, and I was absolutely devastated. My first thought then was, has the drug done anything to me? And am I gonna end up losing child after child? I'm trying, because I always wanted a family. And I always said, after losing one anyway, that no matter what was wrong with my child, I would bring it up. I mean, I was given that chance. Towards the end it was a bit apprehensive because I wasn't sure I was going to cope with things, and I adapted myself to that by using my mouth to lift them out of the cot and so forth. And I used to lay them on the floor with my teeth, and then my feet would take over and I would not change them. I think one of my children ever asked me the difference of why I was like this in particular, and I think that's because the question had been put to them at school. Someone else wanted to know and they didn't exactly know how to answer them. So like I used to try and say to the children, well look, if they're really young, they wouldn't understand anyway. So I say I was born like this, or God made me special. That's all I say to them.
It's no surprise that Katrina's biggest fans are the children she's fought for, who have nothing but admiration for their feisty, fun-loving mum.
Mum always takes on challenges and she has a real good laugh. Like, well, when my niece is down, they'll always tell jokes and everything. And anything crops up, like a party, she'll be there.
Anyone dealing with a difficult situation they've had no control over will nonetheless tell you there's nothing to be gained from blaming others. Katrina is no exception.
I couldn't ever blame my mum. I didn't really understand it. It wasn't until I actually started having children of my own and I really suffered a lot of morning sickness with the 3 boys. If one of the doctors at the stage where I was really poorly, you've really been ill, had said to me, look, here's a tablet, you know, it will stop your sickness and all the rest of it. So I know where my mum's coming from, so I would never hold it against her.
Katrina has not just coped with life as best she could, she has needs to express herself like anyone else does, and having no arms hasn't held her back from making her mark in the art world.
Biggest achievement was my children, first and foremost. My painting's just, well, it's come second.
Oh, she's very good, she's very determined. When she came, she couldn't really paint in watercolours, none of the students could actually. But she took to it quite well. I mean, she started painting with her hands a little bit and then she progressed to painting with her feet. And she is very determined and she picks subjects that a lot of people wouldn't dream of going near.
Katrina gets great satisfaction from her own self-sufficiency. Doing things alone isn't something she faces resentfully. It's a way of life that empowers her.
I've always been independent and my parents have made me that way and I'm quite happy to be that way because then, you know, it's something you pass on to your kids, I think, is being independent. And I feel I've got to be really positive, mostly for the kids, because if I'm not positive, then there's nowhere they're going to be. And I want them to have a positive outlook on life and not let things bother them.